Well, I think it highlights the importance of teaching. Take
Mm-hmm.
it for granted in our culture. I think we take learning in general, in our culture for granted, um, and teachers are often not given like the respect they deserve,
Mm-hmm.
treated as professionally as they could. And I know we hear that a lot, but I mean, if you really think about it, um, what other job puts all of themselves into their work? And there are some that do, but they do it for such little pay.
A quick shout out to our sponsor and podcast home app, Anchor FM. Do you want to start a podcast? As your host of coaching you through all things education and the founder of ANC Unlimited, I use Anchor FM for easy editing, connecting with other podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple, and of course now iHeartRadio. It's free, so I can create as many episodes or bonus episodes for my listeners as I choose. Sign up today at anchor.fm. Connection, engagement, rigor, success. Here on Coaching You Through All Things Education podcast, we are building a legacy of success together, one episode at a time, each Tuesday at noon. As your host, Anne Labangana Clay of ANC Unlimited, we will unpack relevant topics in education together. And when I'm not podcasting, coaching, or consulting, stop by our website, acunlimited.org, for our new blog, Coaching You EDU, and a menu of services. If something resonates with you during this episode, message me on the podcast app of your choice or leave a comment on LinkedIn, our company Facebook page, or on Twitter. Our guests appreciate your feedback. Check out the story notes for our social media details, and certainly, if you have an episode suggestion, send it to coachingallthingsedu@gmail.com. Now let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coaching You Through All Things Education podcast. This is episode 27, and we are so excited to have a conversation with Dr. Brad Johnson today. Dr. Brad is a professor, an author, and a keynote speaker. His Twitter posts leave you reflecting on your own practice and so inspired. Welcome, Dr. Brad.
Thank you. I'm happy to be with you today.
Yes, it is an honor for me to have you with us. All right. So let's start off with you telling our listening audience a little bit about yourself and why you are so passionate about creating and maintaining a growth mindset for our teachers and our administrators.
Yeah, so I've been in education for 25 years, a little over 25 years now.
Awesome.
And started as a teacher, worked up through administration, and then moved into the university level, teaching and training our future leaders in educational leadership. So it's and in that time, written a few books and did a little bit of it and that, but like you said, now I enjoy speaking, and I enjoy inspiring teachers, motivating teachers and administrators too.
Absolutely.
Our staffs are on the front line, and they need all the support they can get.
And that is so true. And like you said, that's to me, it appears that is your mission, is to uplift, those who are questioning. Some of us are, not us, me personally, but, some of our educators are questioning, particularly during the pandemic, is this the career choice for me? Am I really making an impact, on kids when I'm so stressed out, or whatever the case is? And you are a great reminder through your works as well as your post, that we are in the right profession, right? We have a purpose, and if we live that out, we're going to definitely make an impact on everyone that comes across our path. So thank you so much. All right. My next question is actually about a Twitter post, and I know you post quite a bit, so I hope this doesn't catch you off guard. All right, here we go. So just yesterday, you stated, school culture is created by everyone in the building, but admin are the thermostat who set the temperature and affect the influence of everyone else in the culture. There's a little bit more. Set the thermostat where everyone can maximize their potential. What a powerful statement, and so true. Can you unpack that a little bit further for our audience?
Yeah, because I'm pretty simple in my text and in my words, so
Sure.
I try to just be plain and get to the point. But think about it like this. Always think of it like the school building or even your home. You have a thermostat that regulates the temperature, and it's the main source of regulating, the temperature of your house.
Mm-hmm.
But other things can be a factor: doors, windows, fans, and that's everybody else that's in the culture. So that's why, I believe everyone influences it, but the administrator really does set that temperature, or, controls it to an extent more than anyone else. And so it's important for them to make sure that they're setting it at the right temperature for everyone to be able to flourish and to grow.
Awesome. That's great. I mean, that was an excellent analogy to me, because we all know about the role of a thermostat, right? And sometimes we think when we're in a building that the culture is, for example, the fan is influencing a lot, more so, or whatever. But like you said, who sets the tone, right? Who sets the culture for the building is definitely the administration. So thank you. Thank you for unpacking that. All right. So the year 2020 and the beginning of 2021, right? Exactly, right? Have been unprecedented, right? Your message, however, has been consistent. What is your perspective on this past year, and what action plans should our schools put into place?
Well, I think it highlights the importance of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Take it for granted in our culture.
Yes.
I think we take learning in general, in our culture for granted, and teachers are often not given like the respect they deserve, treated as professionally as they could. And I know we hear that a lot, but I mean, if you really think about it, what other job puts all of themselves into their work? And there are some that do, but they do it for such little pay. A lot of my, or not a lot, but some of my tweets, I'll always reflect back on, the average teacher makes 20 or 30,000 less than someone in a comparable profession.
Yes, yes.
And that's a lot of money,
Right.
And I mean, and the thing is, people will always quit back. Oh, well, you don't get into it for the money, but we wouldn't work if we didn't need money, regardless.
Exactly, we've been volunteering, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so, to me, it just seems like the teachers, and the first thing was, well, schools need to start back because teachers are essential.
Ah,
when have they ever been treated that way?
well, there you go, right? Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
So it is. It's like, it's out of convenience always. It's, and let's call them superheroes. And the only reason you call people superheroes is because you're not really taking care of them like you should to begin with. If they were paid well, treated well, and things like that, you wouldn't throw all these superlatives out at them. It's kind of a way of, kind of telling them you appreciate them without actually showing them you appreciate them.
Right, exactly. And like you said, it's such a giving profession. We give so much of ourselves, all the way up. Anyone who's in the area of education, our custodians, our cafeteria workers, in addition to our educators and our admin. It is a giving profession. And like you said, there's been a large or a nice light shined upon the world of education, but it doesn't always reflect, like you said, their opinions, people's opinions that they had prior to the pandemic, or or even when we're past this point, will they still hold educators in the light that they deserve?
And even in education itself, think about this. Mm-hmm. All the states that waived standardized tests because of the pandemic. And guess what? The world didn't end. Right. Education didn't collapse. Our kids are still learning.
That's right.
But it took a great burden off of the process that's really unnecessary. And I harp on standardized testing a lot, but to me, and sometimes people think that people like, oh, well, you don't like it because you weren't good at it. But the reality was that I aced those tests. I was the A student, and I could ace those tests. And the flip side to that was I kind of got because they knew I was going to ace it.
Okay.
Let Brad do what he wants. I wasn't really pushed like I could have been.
Oh, okay. That's a whole nice topic that we don't talk about.
That's another whole aspect of it. So, what are we really pushing? Are we pushing excellence or just mediocrity?
Ooh. I think a book title's coming out. That sounds right. That's the truth. Are we pushing excellence or just mediocrity? Wow. There's so much that we could unpack.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think we have time.
That's a whole conversation.
Right, exactly. But that, you opened up a can of worms. I like it though, because that's real. Right, that's the real deal. You're saying, you as a student, you're using your own self as an example. Aced everything. Nothing was a problem. And what happened? The educators, maybe not their fault, right? They didn't know differently. They didn't push you. They didn't help you to excel, so that you could even, grow even more, academically or, whichever. So, that's a big one, Brad. Thank you so much.
Well, and what bothers me too with that is the flip side of students that struggle in certain areas.
Yes.
Then what we do is we, let's take away PE, let's take away their art, let's take away their music and spend more time on what they're not doing well in. And so we're taking them out of some of the classes that is the very reason they want to come to school. So we give them less of a reason to enjoy school and to want to come to school. Right. And so we're really, doing the opposite effect. Yeah. And plus, if we're always just focusing on weakness, and this is like a big pet peeve of me of education is we just focus on weaknesses. We never focus on what students do well.
Exactly.
Because that's what's going to help them succeed in life.
Sure, to maximize their strengths, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
We
Wow.
would do the same with teachers. I mention all the time and everywhere I speak that we hire teachers for their strengths, but we manage them for their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And we do. We're like, okay, what can we fix instead of here? Let's help you be excellent with, because that's what we're hiring you for, what talent you bring. But we don't ever help them develop those to be even better.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is true. And Brad, you got some side here. No, but seriously, that is exactly what we do to our students. Unfortunately, we do to our educators, like this cycle or system, actually, unfortunately, of dwelling on weaknesses as opposed to dwelling on strength. And how can we maximize what you do well, if I'm repeating what you're saying correctly, to grow further, because that's the whole point, right? The whole point is we shouldn't just be on a plateau, right? We should always be trying to, and I can speak for you, and I know for myself, we do our own personal professional development, right? But I don't get myself in trouble, but do our administrators or our districts or whoever's above us definitely push us so that we can grow even when we're on the school grounds or within in our work setting. So okay, Brad, we're gonna table that for a whole episode. That's a whole episode and a book afterwards, right? All right, my dear, speaking of books, can you unpack your book, Putting Teachers First? How to Inspire, Motivate, and Connect with Your Staff. Woo! That's a big one.
Yeah, there's a lot there, right?
That's right.
Well, I thought the concept came to me when I've looked at successful CEOs, and you'll hear them all the time, or really successful ones will say this statement, and it is that their customers don't come first, but their employees come first, because they know if they take care of their employees are going to take care of their customers. And it's the same way in education. Administrator, our whole mindset, and I get pushback even from educators on this. They're like, no, the student is number one. They're the priority. It's all about them. And I'm like, yes, they're important. They're the most important piece. But to the administrators, priority-wise, the teachers have to be their priority. And then the teachers are going to take care of the students. Think about it. In the school building, how much influence daily does an administrator really have on the students? Not a lot. Hopefully they do interact, right, talk to them in the halls, but they really don't have much influence on them. It's the teachers in the classroom with them all day long that have the influence. Yeah. And so the more that administrators understand, man, if I take care of my teachers, if I support them and encourage them and show them appreciation, they're going to be dynamic in the classroom.
There you go, right?
And then is a student going to succeed more in that classroom? That's the classroom they're going to do best in.
Right, sure, absolutely. Oh, wow. Now that's rich, because like you said, if I don't feel, I'm just using myself as an example, if I don't feel appreciated, if I don't feel supported, right, whether that be my emotional health or whether that be my professional, development areas, I'm not going to be able to give my best to my students, right? And so what I'm hearing you say is you're as administrators, right? Your role is to do all of those things and more, so that the students, like a trickle, I don't want to say trickle down effect, because that sounds.
But it is, right.
Right, but it's the same concept, a ripple effect. How's that?
There you go.
Right.
In the middle. aspect. I like it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So now, for our educators listening today, what 3 takeaways do you have from your collection of works? Because you have several books that are out already.
Yeah, my 10th one is about to come out, and it is Dear Teacher, and we can talk about that in a minute. But it really is just about I have a good friend that's in the business field. His name's Chester Elton. He's written several New York Times bestsellers like The Carrot Stick or Carrot Principle. And his thing, it's funny because we were talking about appreciation, and his thing is like, do you only appreciate your spouse on Valentine's Day? And it's kind of like Teacher Appreciation Week. If that's the only time you show them appreciation, you don't really appreciate them. So it really is, from a perspective of administrators, it really is about being less of an administrator, more of a leader. And with that leader, you're getting buy-in, you're supporting them, you're encouraging them, you're doing all the things so that they will buy into your vision or, hopefully a shared vision so that, they're more successful. And then for teachers, it's about balance. So often when they don't feel supported by their administration, they feel like they have to go above and beyond all the time. I got to have the best looking classroom because then I will get, some attention or appreciation.
Sure.
If I'm here, if I work the longest, hopefully. So it almost becomes like a competition among teachers when they're not supported properly.
Right.
And so we got to get past that mindset. Hopefully administrators do a better job, and some do. There's some out there that do, a magnificent job of this. But teachers have to realize that, they're on the same team. They're not in competition with each other. And learn how to lean on each other, support on each other, help each other, and encourage each other too. A lot of times we look to our leaders, but, as professionals, we can appreciate each other and encourage each other and support each other along. And then, like I said, we create that culture where, the kids are benefited the most from that.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Wow. All right. So everybody go get your books. Definitely. No, but I like it. I mean, that's why I was excited to, finally connect with you because, I believe in that message. I believe in, the impact and the changes and the influence that you can have if you have this positive culture, that is top down, or the ripple effect.
Right. No, I like that. I'll start using that term.
Okay.
Steal that from you.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
I think the other thing too for teachers, the missing piece is I wrote a book called Learning on Your Feet. And I remember as a child, even though I made great grades, but, I was the athlete. I probably would have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, but I'm so old that we didn't, label those things back then. Right. But I mean, if I didn't have those 2 or 3 recesses a day and break at lunch, I probably would have stayed in trouble. I did, kind of anyway, just because I, was just so, I had to get up and move. I needed to be outside. And so, we are so focused on testing now that we're not letting kids be kids, and, we're taking away recess and play. And even like movement in the classroom. I think we have to maybe not retrain our teachers, but encourage our teachers that, we need to have our kids more active. Yeah. And not sitting all day. And, when you think the majority of discipline problems is usually boys. And, and one of the first things I think is probably 70% or more. And if you think about it, the first thing or some of the things we do is like take away recess. Mm-hmm. Right. The very thing they need. Yes, And so we do. I think of how active learning was when I was a child. and how sedentary that it is today. And I think that one of the biggest disservices that we do to kids today is to make them, sit quiet in a desk. That's not natural to them.
No, to anyone, right?
Anyone, right? Exactly.
Particularly, like you said, younger, students. It's natural to even kneel in your chair or to want to sit on the floor.
Exactly.
I can think of, when I was in the classroom, oh my goodness, Brad, like I would have students, they'd be like, can I sit under your desk? And when I mean sit under your desk, I mean, they were working, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Oh, I know. Yeah. Exactly.
This needs to happen, but they just couldn't wait to sit in these different places.
Exactly.
In the room, flexible seating, they call it today, right? So absolutely, I love that. I was thinking earlier when you were talking about brain breaks and things of that nature and how valuable taking even recess or whatever is for the brain to process, we're going scheduled it, boom, 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 period after period after period, subject after subject, no matter what grade level or, even high school, college, might not have as many breaks as it needs, and you're going from one thing to the next. And how do you take the time to process, anymore? So thank you so much for bringing that up. I love the movement, though. I love that concept. I think that's a missing art. We need to gain that one back again. All right. So you alluded to a new book coming. Tell us a little sneak peek or something.
Yeah, over the last year or two, just all the feedback that I get from my tweets, I've had, so many people are like, write an inspirational book or, write a book of quotes or, a daily type thing. And so this book is that. It's called Dear Teacher, because it's kind of like a letter to a teacher, and so each day is a quote and then a story or an anecdote or something like that. So it's not just some cheesy quote for the day. I hate those books, really, but it's really geared towards teachers, the classroom, the teachers. And it's just stories and anecdotes to hopefully inspire them, but encourage them, and let them know that other people have gone through, what they're going through, that they feel supported, and hopefully, help them, to realize the talents they have, because it all, again, always comes back to that. I'm what's called, it's called a maximizer influencer.
All right, now.
So, yeah, I've been called worse, but a maximizer influencer is someone that helps people identify and develop their strengths to maximize their potential.
Yes.
And so, most of my books are written that way, but this one really is. It's about encouraging and inspiring because, again, especially this last year, teachers, and everybody's been through it. It's not just teachers, but we've all been through so much. And the teachers were expected to change how education's been done in 200 years in a week.
In a week, right?
Let's change everything that we've ever done.
What's our new vocab word? Pivoting, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just been a tough year. And so hopefully, they got encouragement from each other. Hopefully they got encouragement from their administrators, and hopefully they got encouragement from me. But definitely I think this book will, encourage them, inspire them, support them. And it's really different than any educational book I think that's been written. I say it's the chicken soup for teachers.
Oh, yes.
But it really is geared towards
the soul, right?
Right.
Good for the teacher's soul. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. All right. Well, we're definitely going to be looking forward to that when it drops. So we can
Am I not
correct?
I think 3 weeks till it comes out.
Ooh, okay, we can pre-order, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're going to put that in our story notes. Well, my very last question trends on the show, and it's actually one of my favorites. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what legacy message would you print on it and why?
I'm going to answer it a little different than anybody else. So, and hopefully you won't cry.
No.
But my cousin passed away 2 years ago. She was a teacher. And this was worldwide. This was on all the news outlets, CNN, everything, the nightly news. But her final request was, instead of flowers, for people to send backpacks. Because, she knew that there would be students in need of them. And so backpacks were sent from all over the world to her school district, full of pencils, pens, crayons, and stuff like that. And so her legacy, so the legacy would be hers, and it was, and the wording of most of the news reports was, in lieu of flowers, send backpacks. And so that would be great on a billboard. And it was on a lot of billboards, I guess, TVs, but literally from around the world. And what I did was, the chapel, before the service, we had backpacks line the aisles and the whole altar area. And so I actually took a picture of that with nothing. Well, I didn't, but one of our friends did. And that's all it showed was the chapel full of backpacks. And when I tweeted that out, it went
viral for sure.
Viral, yeah. I mean, many times over. So it was just, but the thing is, that's the heart of most teachers.
That's it.
It really is. They, till the end, they're giving and thinking of others. That's what teachers do.
You're right. That pulls on my that pulls on my heartstrings. I am. The tears are coming down on the corner here. But that's beautiful. Like you said, give right till the end. What can I do? Right?
Service, thinking of others. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Woo! What a blessing she was for, not just those students who were impacted, but the world, because she showed the world what to do, right?
Right.
She showed the world what to do. So, oh, wow, Brad. Well, thank you so much for an awesome conversation. Oh, my goodness. I've been looking forward to this, as you know, to pick your brain a little bit more, from your works and everything. And folks, if you are listening, please make sure you check the story notes for all of Brad's works, multiple works, and those that are yet to come out, and follow him on Twitter as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Brad.
Oh, thank you. I had an awesome time. You are such a joy.
Oh, thank you. Well, that concludes another episode of Coaching You Through All Things Education. As Confucius states, those people who develop the ability to continuously acquire new and better forms of knowledge that they can apply to their work and into their lives will be the movers and shakers in our society for the indefinite future. Again, you can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter, or you can also find us on our Facebook page, A&C Unlimited. As a reminder, for a free consultation in any area of education that you choose, for educators, administrators, or parents, please visit afunlimited.org. Until next time, stay stress-free and be well.